45 minutes. Half hour, 45 minutes talking about this stuff. And that way we can have a good understanding of resistance training, muscular fitness in general. So, right off the bat, I actually kind of want to get your basic knowledge. Can you guys see that okay? Do you want me to dim it down? I can try to dim it.
Probably for this thing too.
Yeah, I want to see.
Oh
Is that-
yeah.
Is that better?
Very much so.
There you go. Okay. Alright. So I'm gonna have to have my back toward you, but I apologize. I don't have markers in here, so that's what to do. So I just want to get your basic understanding of some human anatomy. Okay, so I'm gonna point to a specific body type and try to give me that muscle, whatever that may be, okay? I just want to see if you know. Okay, so there's no wrong answers, there are wrong answers, but you know what I mean. So let's start with this particular group right here.
Deltoid?
Nope.
Pectoral?
Yeah.
That's right.
Pecs. So we got these right here. What's going on? I guess I can't draw on this one. Oh, you know what it is. Hold on. I figured it out. These things are difficult to use sometimes. Nice, I can hear you, you know. Alright, so those are your pecs.
So where are the delts?
So, the delts are these guys.
Who you opposed to?
Delt.
So the ones that raise your arm?
Right. Yep, so those little guys are your deltoids. Okay. I had one of these sheets, but I think I forgot it in your packet, so no big deal. Then we got, let's go to the back. Let's see, what's this guy?
Trapezoid.
Yeah, traps. Let's see, what do we got? What are these?
Is that the
Laterals?
discus?
Lats?
Yeah, the lats. Does anybody know what the full term is for the lats? You're close.
Latissimus.
Yeah, keep going.
I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Like a dolphin.
D.
It's what?
Think of a dolphin. For some reason that always triggered it for me. Latissimus dorsi.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, but lats for short. So when we're talking about the lat pull down, okay,
Yeah.
these are the muscles that we use a lot. These are one of your largest muscle groups in your body, along with your traps, and what are these?
Your gluteus maximus.
Yeah.
What
Glu-
did Allison say? Your buttocks?
Your buttocks.
Your yeah.
Yeah. Those are your glutes. Okay, and there's different types. You have your medius, your maximus. Okay, but you don't need to know that. Just in general, when we refer to the glutes, okay, that's what those are.
Right. Three.
What's that?
3 glutes.
Yeah. Now, so you'd sit anterior delts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anterior means what?
Front.
Right.
Posterior. Back.
So posterior delts. Okay. So whenever we're talking about the back or the front, okay, posterior back, anterior front. Okay. What are these guys?
Triceps.
All right. Okay, Laurie, no more.
Okay, sorry. So are the bigger muscles easier to train or the smaller muscles?
It's a good question. What do you think?
I would think the smaller. Bigger.
You think? Why do you think smaller?
Because you put a lot of effort in that, trying to get that small muscle.
Yeah, it's bigger. Bigger muscles require more energy to expend during their exercise routine. So that's why, for example, when people train their legs on one particular day, their legs, if you look at the leg, we're going to get to in a second, your legs are a huge portion of your muscle capacity in your body. And so when you're draining all that energy out of your legs, okay, you need to recruit a lot more energy
Oh, yeah, okay.
to do those. Yeah. So when we're doing isolated muscle groups, triceps, biceps, or whatever, the smaller groups, you can usually inflame them more, meaning that you can feel what's known as a muscle pump, where you actually feel your muscle begin to be bigger. Okay, it's just more blood flow. That's what's going on. It's easier to do that for those smaller muscle groups. It's harder to get an actual muscle pump, if you will, for the larger groups. But yeah, so triceps. So how many triceps do you think there are on the human body?
1.
I circled the first half of that word for you.
I was
Oh,
gonna say, I think there's
three.
3,
Yeah.
but I
Three.
wasn't sure.
So there's a lot of 3s, huh?
Yep, there are.
Nice.
Yep, triceps. How many do you think are in the bicep?
2.
2.
Ah, nice.
Oh, we're on to it now.
You got it. All right,
I
so
didn't
let's
realize
see.
that.
What's that?
So I guess I didn't realize that.
Yep. All right, so what are these guys?
I can't answer right.
Are those
Right.
hamstrings?
Yeah.
Yeah, hamstrings.
Oh, I forgot it was the posterior. I was like,
Okay. So posterior, right? Hamstrings. So what about the front? What are these called? Anterior.
Just your hamstring still.
They're a different muscle group. This is just, I'm just letting you know that this is the front and this is the back.
All right.
So what do you think those guys are?
I don't know.
What are quadriceps?
Yeah,
Mhm.
you got it.
Did
Okay.
you just answer that as?
What is
I
Jeopardy
love
style.
it. I love it.
Jeopardy style.
Yeah.
What is quadriceps? Yep. So there's your quads. Okay, quadriceps. This actual long muscle right here, bonus points if you know what this is.
That's not the iliotibial band.
This is the muscle.
Not the iliosoleus.
Any guesses? Anybody familiar with Notorious B.I.G.? No? The famous rapper?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the muscle of Sartorius. Yeah, so whenever I think of this muscle, I always sing the song Notorious with Sartorius. That's how I remember it.
Where's your adductors on that picture?
What's that?
Where's adductor?
Your
Or,
adductors?
yeah.
That's your side.
Okay.
Yep, so if you have adductors, add to the body as well as abductors, abduct away from the body, right? Those are inside.
Okay, I thought that's what the.
It's hard to tell on this because there's no, you'd actually have to cut away a cross section of the buttocks to see them, as well as get cross section away from here. So it kind of looked like that, and then you would pull that sucker out, and it would just be a bunch of different muscles, kind of like that. So pretty neat. All right, let's do. I'm just doing the major ones here. What are these guys?
Calves.
Yeah. Do anybody know the actual technical term? If you know, Laura, you can say it.
Okay. It's not, gastroc.
You got it.
It is?
She a
Gastroc.
nurse?
You're making me pull it out from a long time ago.
That's good.
Are you a nurse?
What's that?
Are you a nurse or something?
No, I'm a
No.
coder.
Or what?
Inpatient coder at the hospital.
Oh.
But they don't usually go to tell me all these muscles. They tell me body parts.
Yep. Well, I think it's important to know.
Yeah, it is.
And then you also have this muscle that's under this tendon. Okay. Anybody know what this tendon is?
Achilles.
Yeah, your Achilles tendon. Okay, right down here, right here. Okay, but beneath this little layer is another muscle called the soleus. Soleus, something like that. Maybe you know why. Soleus. Yep. So that helps with building up calf strength. Okay, because your gastroc is the heart of your lower leg. Okay, kind of looks like an upside down heart a little bit. Okay. So the soleus does help a lot with building up that strength in this area. Yep. And then, so we got these guys on the sides. What are these guys called?
Abs.
Yeah, so we have, the front, okay, this little area right here. What is that called?
Your six pack.
Yeah. That's your rectus abdominis. Otherwise known as your abs. Okay. Now the side of them, Lori, if you know the answer, go ahead and shout it out. those are your obliques. Okay, you're familiar with that. Okay. These little claw-like muscles on the side, these are called your serratus. Yeah. Your serratus anterior. I don't know how to spell it. Serratus, something like that. Anterior. A lot of different terms kind of come out, and they, for some reason that's not picking up.
I was like,
They say they're anterior serratus, serratus anterior. I think the actual proper physical name is the serratus anterior. So, but yeah. So I mean, just a general idea of where the muscles are. Okay, in your back, you have these guys inside of here, rhomboids. Okay, those are also responsible for all the pushing. So I think posterior. Okay, pull. Every time you pull something, okay, you're generally speaking, you're working your back. Okay, every time you push something, you're generally speaking, you're working your chest, your front of your shoulders, your anterior delts. Okay, your triceps are the only differences. Your bis and your tris are opposite. Okay, your biceps involved with pulling. Okay, your triceps are involved with pushing. Every time you think about an elbow extension, triceps. Okay, elbow flexion, biceps. So if you mimic that motion when you're lifting, okay, or swimming, okay, or running, okay, think about the muscles that you're using. It's really quite fascinating when you start making the connections. And that's how you get a well-rounded, well-balanced exercise program, by incorporating all the major muscle groups that we just went over. Okay, does that all make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So, going back to this. On your sheet, you're going to see strength training can increase and decrease things. So, are you familiar with the benefits of strength training in general? Name some out right off the bat. You can read some if you want. I'm going to write it on the board so people who aren't here can see it. So, what are some benefits?
I gotta figure something out here.
Lowers your blood pressure.
So, increase muscle mass. What kind of muscle mass? Is it lean body mass?
Yes.
AKA lean. Yep.
The burn fat.
Burn fat. Yep. So when you're increasing your muscle mass, exactly. You increase calories burned, right?
Increase your metabolism.
Yep. Through having, again, more lean body mass. That's key right here. Okay, so if there's anything you want to take home, it's the more you strength train, the more you resistance train, the larger, or the more percentage you would have lean body mass to fat body mass. And you guys remember the formula that we did, right? When we were getting your body fat done. That fat body mass is what we want to see a drop in, and we want to see that lean body mass increase through the body composition piece. Yep. So what else? Name 2 more benefits of strength training.
You mentioned burn fat.
It decreases your blood pressure, but it also increases your cognitive function, giving you better muscle control and dexterity.
Dexterity, perfect, yeah. I mean, cognitive in the sense of more neurons firing in your brain.
Which
Okay.
gives you the ability to react better.
Right. So that a lot of people haven't heard the term increased neuron firing. Simply meaning when you're increasing the neuron firing, you're becoming more susceptible to better trained sessions. So, for example, if you follow within a 72-hour window, so, for example, when we do strength training, okay, we want to follow within a 72-hour window. Okay, so what does that mean? When we incorporate our strength training, we want to hit each major muscle group. Hit each major muscle group. It's very difficult to write on this thing.
You're
At
doing a
least-
great job.
At least twice a week. And within 72 hours from each other.
And why?
So going back to that neuron firing, okay, increased cognitive function. Okay, when you do strength training and you hit each major muscle group twice a week within a 72-hour window, you don't need to relearn neuron-wise how to do that exercise that you're doing. So if you wait past 72 hours, for example, and you do a bench press, you may think that you remember how to do a bench press, but your muscles do not. And your muscles are in a direct association between cognitive function when you increase it. So the more neurons that you fire, okay, and the sooner time frame that you train in, the more muscle adaptability you have. So if you do a bench press and then 48 hours again, you do another bench press, okay, you will see gains in your bench press, regardless if it's adding an extra rep or tacking on an extra 2.5 to 5 pounds or whatever that may be. Your muscles have adapted, they understand what's coming, and your brain doesn't need to send that signal to them to lift.
As long as it's within 72 hours.
Right. After that 72-hour window, you lose that capability. Your motor neurons need to refire, okay, and your muscles need to relearn how to lift. Yep. Okay. So now that we have the benefits of strength training, what are some non-benefits of strength training? Let me throw that one at you.
Non-benefits?
Yeah.
I guess you are prone to injury. Possible. You don't feel right.
It's a trick question.
Because there are none.
There are none. Ha! Okay, the only time
You
that
had me
really-
thinking. I was really trying to figure something out.
the only way that strength training could be detrimental to somebody is if they're either improperly shown how to strength train. Okay, so they're doing the mechanics wrong.
So wear on your cartilage and your joints.
Yeah, it's more wear. So for elderly people, okay, you still want to do them. You still want to have them doing strength training. Okay, but resistance and strength training doesn't mean that you have to go lift plates and plates and plates in the weight room. Okay, resistance training is simply body weight training. Squats, lunges, push-ups, everything like that can count as resistance training. Using bands or whatever. So
Kettlebells.
right, anything that you can possibly imagine.
So in resistance training is the same as strength
Adding something that your body has to resist, either pushing or pulling.
and it's just as good as
Yep. So
Like throwing a medicine ball that's like
Yeah.
30 pounds as high as you can,
that's called a plyometric training.
many times as you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Power plyometric training, that's what that's called.
I've been doing that. It's kind of fun.
Oh yeah, no, it's a blast. Yeah, I'm gonna show you a little tier thing in a moment, but yeah, so when you have elderly people that are osteoporosis or they have very fragile bones or they haven't strength trained in a while, it's important that you start them on a specific exercise regimen instead of just throwing them into something. So in the later pages, you're going to see that I supplied you guys. This is also just taken right off an awesome website. But I supplied you guys with just a little 4-week sample strength training program. Okay, so you'll have a sample week. So, like for example, Monday you strength train session A, Tuesday some sort of cardiorespiratory training or whatever that may be. Wednesday you do your strength training B, then go back to A, etc., etc. Okay, so you'll notice that there are indeed 4 different session types in the last 2 of your pages. So next week when we go over some of the mechanics of it all, we'll bring this sheet, we'll go over different things that we can do. So that would be good.
You have an extra one of those?
Yep. There we go.
Boom.
But yeah, so any questions about the benefits of resistance training?
no. But tell me again what biometric training is.
I'm gonna get to it.
Okay.
Yep. You're good. together.
Thank you for changing that to black.
Yeah, I figured that would be a little bit better.
I couldn't even. It wasn't even showing on the.
Yep. All right. So, when we're talking about, well, one thing I gotta clear up real quick is muscular fitness.
Mike, you're not right.
You not see that? It's black on here, but it's red on here. Strange. So muscular fitness. Let's see, there you go. What does that mean?
To have lean muscles.
Well, it's in the sense of a two-termed description. When we're talking about resistance training or strength training, there's so many different names of training. Okay, and it's kind of sometimes it can be a little confusing to determine which one it is that you're talking about. So muscular fitness simply means muscular strength and muscular endurance in the combination of thereof. Okay, so muscular fitness in those components of fitness that we mentioned, that we're going to go over cardiorespiratory training, muscular fitness, flexibility, body composition. There are 5, if you remember. Okay, when you include muscular fitness, you just take away one of them, which is the muscular endurance and muscular strength training. Okay, so you're just combining the two terms into one. So on your sheets in the beginning of your packets, not this one that I just handed out, but the very first one that I handed out to you, it says muscular fitness, i.e. muscular endurance, muscular strength. Okay, so that's just what that means. So when we're talking about endurance, how do you think we would strength train in that phase?
The number of reps you do?
Exactly. So sets and reps are what we're going to go over right now. Do we know the difference between those two terms? Yeah.
Reps are the amount of numbers in your set.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And sets are just what?
Complete blocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Made up of reps.
Yeah. Okay, so it's just repeating your reps.
Like 2 sets of 15 reps
Exactly.
or something.
Yep. So what you just described is exactly what endurance training is. 1 to 2 sets of anywhere from 15 to 20 repetitions. Okay? So for your sets, you have your 1 to 2 and 15 to 20. And what that does is it utilizes different fiber types, muscle fiber types in your body. So you have 2 different types of muscle fibers. Okay? To get a general idea, I think it's important to understand. So you have type 1 fibers, and you have type 2. What do you think type 1 muscle fibers are? Do you think those would be long endurance or short-term endurance, or short-term high power?
50-50 shot, right?
It's a 50-50 shot, you got it.
So they're probably your quick firing ones.
Nope.
Nope.
Almost.
Power.
Yep.
50 chance.
Yep. So, no, you're right. Type 1 is endurance.
Okay.
Okay. Type 2, A and X, okay, are your more of your power type muscle fibers.
Okay.
Okay, so you're all right. Yep. And when you're training in the endurance phase, you typically recruit more of your type 1 muscle fibers because those are the type of fibers that respond well to endurance type exercises. Marathon running, long distance swimming, long distance biking. Okay, higher repetitions when you're doing your sets for strength training. So if you get in the 15 to 20 rep range of 1 to 2 sets, you're typically recruiting more type 1 than you would type 2. You're still using both. Okay, it's just impossible to use one or the other. You are using both, but the majority of the fibers that are fired are your type 1s. That make sense?
So low weight, high reps for your type 1, high
Exactly.
weight, low reps for type 2.
Right. Yeah, and you
Say
have
it again.
High reps, large amount of reps for type 1 for quick firing. Low reps with heavier weight for your strength, for your power type.
so you have your type 2 A and X fibers. Okay.
Meaning if you want type 1, just do the bar 15 times. And then if you want to crank up type 2, throw a plate on there and do it 5 to 8 times.
Right, and that's what's known as the combination between strength and hypertrophy training. Now, hypertrophy training, so this is endurance, right?
So type 2 is hypertrophy training?
Hypertrophy and strength. Okay, so there are technically 4 different types of strength training. There are endurance, general, hypertrophy, and strength. Okay, but general is just general. It's in between hypertrophy and endurance, really.
So endurance is going to get you more lean?
Not necessarily.
No.
Nope. Don't think of it that way. Okay, it's not. Your body doesn't respond like that. Okay.
Your body
Well,
responds
if
to the
it,
combination of
hypertrophy
everything
means bigger.
together.
Hypertrophy, yeah, exactly. You're increasing muscle size through
So
doing
I'm thinking
sets
with
and reps.
endurance, you're tightening up.
For your hypertrophy, you're doing 2 to 3 sets
Yeah. That's what we think
of 8 to 12 reps. That's according to American Council on Exercise. Okay, National Academy of Sports Medicine suggests 6 to 10 reps is hypertrophy, but we're gonna go through ACE, okay, because that's what I'm certified in. That's what a lot of the other personal trainers will be certified in. So hypertrophy training. Yeah.
That is on record.
At least I repeated it. So hypertrophy training, 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Okay, and your strength training. And we're gonna go over rest in a second. So these are all called acute variables. 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Okay, those are acute variables. You need them to fully understand what it is that you're doing for your strength training. Okay, regardless of what phase you're in.
So are we choosing I'm going to do endurance, or am I choosing I'm going to do...
I'm going to show you everything. Yep. Yeah, so your strength training, okay, are sets between anything really greater than 3. You can have as many sets as you damn well please. Okay.
For which one?
For strength.
Mhm.
Okay? Because when you're doing strength training, okay, really it's 4+ sets of anywhere between 1 RM, sorry, to at most I would say 5 reps. Okay, sometimes it's 6, but me personally, through my studies, I found that 5 is generally the highest that you would want to go for strength purposes. Once you get into 6, 7, 8, you're going towards hypertrophy, and that's not what your goal is for strength. Strength is the actual physical muscle changing for power. It's becoming a lot stronger. Okay?
So you're almost maxing out
Exactly, every single time.
every time you go for strength.
Right.
And you're just maxing out.
Right.
Like max day.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
And then just go 5.
Right, so your
Okay.
1 RM means 1 repetition max. So if your maximum bench press is 180 pounds, okay, you would do anywhere between 80 to 100% of your 1 RM for intensity. Okay, for your hypertrophy training, it's right around 70-75%. Okay, maybe even 80-85% as well. Depends on your goals. Depends on how much you're putting together the two. And then your endurance training is 55 to 65% of your 1 RM. Yep. So finding out what your 1 RM is just as important as finding out what your resting heart rate is. Okay, it gives you the percentages for you to train in. Okay, so strength 4+ sets, really at 1 to 5 repetitions. Now rest intervals, okay, this is when it starts getting a little bit more scientific, and just stop me if I can really talk about exercise physiology. So just stop me, because I will talk your ear off. So you have your rest intervals are going to be anywhere between 2+ minutes or higher. Generally speaking, people wait 3 to 5 minutes for strength. Okay, do you know why that is? After doing...
To refire your blood cells, maybe? Rebuild them?
No.
Before you exert
Get
that power
oxygen?
again?
It's not so much to do with oxygen, no. But it has to do with the energy systems. Are you familiar with any of those? No?
That's what you said the other day.
Yeah. Do you remember any of that?
I remember ATP or something like
Yeah.
that.
So your ATP is
Yeah.
your most immediate source of fuel in your body. Okay, at the molecular level, that's what you need to do everything. Okay, you cannot function, you cannot move without ATP, regardless of what it is that you're doing. How you resynthesize that ATP depends on what it is that you're doing. So when you're resynthesizing your ATP for strength training, okay, your body physically needs 2 to 5 minutes for that ATP to fully resynthesize, so you can actually have a submaximal or maximal effort via strength training.
Otherwise, you're just fatiguing yourself.
You simply cannot do it. If you didn't wait 2 to 5 minutes for your strength training purposes, you would not get your 1RM back.
Well, that's why you see people sitting
Waiting.
there for a few minutes. I was
A lot of people do that too often. Okay, this is
Which will
generally
cool you down.
right.
Okay, so if you target a different muscle group and you jump,
Mm-hmm.
and then you do a set and a rep without stopping, but you jump to a different group and then you jump back. Now,
Yeah.
does that give you?
You would
your
think it
reboot?
would. You would think it would, but
But it doesn't. So supersetting is bad.
it's not bad. Supersetting uses a different requirement
That's
to
for endurance.
resynthesize ATP.
Okay.
Okay, so you have your phospholipid or your phosphagen system, which is that first stage of resynthesizing your ATP. Okay, phosphagen is binding to creatine. Have you heard of creatine? Okay, creatine is naturally found in your body. It's what ATP, okay, the molecule. I'll draw it out. The molecule binds to. I keep doing that. Okay, so you have, let's say, ATP right here, okay? And then you have little creatine phosphate molecules that it can bind to, okay? This is your phosphagen system. Okay, I'm going to try to keep this as simple as I can. So, your ATP can bind to this creatine, can bind to that creatine, can bind to that creatine. Okay, once that's over, okay, when you have no more creatine to bind to, your phosphagen system needs to replenish, okay, via the 2 to 5 minute time frame. This area right here will resynthesize within 2 to 5 minutes, okay, because your creatine will produce again, your ATP will convert to where it needs to convert, and will be able to bind to that creatine phosphate molecules right away.
And is this why they form like the creatine pre-workouts,
Mm-hmm.
so that you actually have like a heavier ready availability?
Exactly. So when you supplement with
Okay.
creatine,
Okay.
it's all clicking, right?
Yeah.
When you supplement with creatine, you add
You're
in
talking about supplements or something?
this right now. He's talking about supplementation. Yep. When you add supplements such
more
as
like a
creatine,
booster than a supplement.
no, it's a supplement.
Right.
Yep, it's a supplement.
That is.
Everything that you can take to help increase muscle size or increase energy is a supplement.
Okay.
So like a shake or something.
Or like
Yeah.
anything that's
Power
not
shake,
natural,
everything,
really.
Everything that's not a whole food.
Even muscle milk, all
Yeah.
that supplement.
If it has more than what
A
necessary,
vitamin.
Yes.
that's how I
Supplement.
think about it. It's a supplement. And supplements mean supplementation of your diet.
Yep.
Doesn't mean add
Substitute.
to your diet, which is a lot of people do. But anyway, so taking more creatine, okay, allows your ATP to bind to more creatine. So if, for example, if you were doing strength training and you were and your max was 200, easy math, and you were training at 190, okay, about 90 to 95% of your 1RM, and you did that for a week and you got 2 reps, okay. If you took creatine, and you did that for a week or 2, okay, your amount of energy that you would have would be longer, and you'd be able to do an extra rep. Okay, you'd have an extra bit of energy, okay, molecular level, to expel. Therefore, creatine doesn't. When creatine, a lot of the advertisements are that it increases muscle size or whatever. It doesn't. Okay, it doesn't do anything. What it does is it gives you an energy boost to the molecular level, not physical that you can readily see. Not like caffeine as a stimulant. It's not a stimulant. It's a legitimate.
Gives you more fuel for your muscles to grow.
Exactly.
It doesn't make your muscles
It's
grow.
molecular fuel.
It's like eating broccoli
Yeah.
and then working out.
Right.
Kind.
Yeah. Okay, so that's your phosphagen system. That's the very first most energy system that you do. Then you have what's known as glycolysis. Okay, and this is the second step to resynthesizing that ATP. This is anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes, okay, of training. So your example of supersetting, okay, you're working in this energy system, the glycolysis energy system. Okay, and this is the predominant area where your ATP would be resynthesized through glycogen in your muscles and in your liver. Glycogen is another name for sugar, pretty much. Okay, it's stored sugar in your muscles and in your liver. That gets converted, okay, to pyruvate, which pyruvate is just like a enzyme, I believe, like our chemical breakdown. Okay, once that gets converted to pyruvate, then that will bind through a cycle called Krebs cycle. Okay, we're not going to get any of that crap. And then when that goes through that cycle, okay, the end result is more ATP that's produced. So you're literally taking sugar that you've eaten and making it energy. That's how you make it energy. You break it down through the molecular level, through a Krebs cycle, and at the very end of that Krebs cycle is ATP produced.
Now, is it important to get your sugar through like fruit or naturally, or can you just
sugar,
eat a candy bar?
Sugar is sugar in your body doesn't know the difference.
Okay.
Okay? What the body does know a difference is complex, resistant type carbohydrates. Okay, those are such things as your sweet potatoes, your vegetables, dark leafy greens. Things that take a while for you to digest, okay, are complex, resistant type carbohydrates. The simple carbohydrates are the candy, okay?
That's carbs.
Yeah, sugar that's readily absorbed, that doesn't need to be digested in the stomach or in the liver. Okay, it just goes right through your blood. That's why diabetics carry around little glucose tabs. They literally go right into your blood. They feel your blood. Okay, you have enough sugar in your bloodstream. Once you have too much sugar in your bloodstream, okay, then that sugar goes into your cells for added energy later on. Okay, so if you eat too much sugar, you're literally taking it from your bloodstream, putting it into your muscles. Once your muscles are filled up, you put it to your liver. When your liver's filled up, where does it go? It gets stored as fat. Okay? So, eat it, goes to your blood, goes to your muscles, goes to your liver, gets stored as fat. When you have too much fat, okay, then you have an array of complications that are going to arise. Okay, type 2 diabetes, overweight, things such as stroke, heart disease, everything. You know what being overweight and obese does to the body. Okay? And then the last one is just aerobic.
So, how do you say it again?
Glycolysis.
Glycolysis. Converting glucose
into pyruvate.
Pyruvate. How do you spell that?
Pyruvat. This is complex material, but I'm trying to make it so it's easy to understand. Okay? And then your last stage, and after I'm going to explain this, I'll tell you exactly what happens, but during the aerobic stage, okay, it's anything that's after your 3 minutes of steady training. So running, biking, swimming. Okay? This is when, and this is awesome, this is when you take in oxygen. Okay? And your oxygen binds to those glucose molecules that we talked about, the glycogen. They bind to that glycogen, and then they bind to the fat as well. Okay? That's stored in your body. They bind to glucose and fat. And then they go through that Krebs cycle again. Because your Krebs cycle is different. It can be used just for carbs, or it can be used for oxygen and glucose and fat. Once it goes through that cycle, then the net result again is ATP. So you take in oxygen like plants do, and you convert it into energy. That's the aerobic zone. That is your aerobic phase of the energy system.
So you said anything after
2 minutes, really.
okay, anything after 2 minutes. Let me get this straight.
Your body needs a faster way to resynthesize that ATP. Always remember
So
that
it's
your
taking
body wants
oxygen
to
in your glucose
and converting
and
it.
it's to ATP.
Right. Your body wants to resynthesize ATP to produce function in your body. That's what it needs to do. And in order for that to do that, you need to have different energy systems that's most readily available. So if you're breathing hard, your heart rate's up, you're biking, you're in the aerobic energy system because you're breathing so much that oxygen's converting into added energy. Now, if you have enough ATP stored, okay, you don't need the aerobics. You don't need the aerobic energy system. You don't need a glycolysis energy system. It's when that first phase diminishes. Okay? But each one of these systems are going all the time. Okay, when you're training. Okay, when the phosphagen system empties, depletes, okay, the glycolysis stage picks up, or the aerobic stage picks up. And then the first one is resynthesizing. That's why you see marathon runners being able to full sprint to the finish line. When they're dead, okay, and they've hit that physical wall, they still have their phosphagen system that's been resynthesized, waiting for that extra burst to go. And that's where that extra burst comes from. It's stored. It's already in there. They have creatine molecules ready for them at any moment that they want. That's why you can throw a punch as hard as you want.
For that last hoorah.
Yeah. That last sub-maximal effort, lasting 10 seconds. That's how long your phosphagen system lasts. 10 seconds. That's how much you have stored in your body.
And that's the first
That's your first,
source of energy.
right, your phosphagen system. You have up to 10 seconds of immediate energy. After that, it's gone. Then your glycolysis stage picks up.
And this is really why it's important to take rest and
Mhm.
not overwork out
Right.
7 days a week,
Exactly.
depleting your ATP and a lot of your other firing
It's
systems.
more about overtraining principle.
Yeah.
And your and micro tears in your muscles that can't resynthesize,
Yeah.
so protein can't get to them in time to replenish and resynthesize.
Mhm.
Yeah. So does that all make sense?
When does it get to go to the fat? Start burning the fat.
So it depends on the type of training that you're doing. But again, you need to burn through your glycogen stores before you remotely get to your fat stores. Okay, your body won't just say, "Oh, I'm going to use fat today." It can't.
It's going to use the quick energy first.
Exactly. Glucose is the most purest form of energy. And it's readily available in your blood, in your muscles, and in your liver. That's why diabetics have to be cautious of when they're training, because if their blood sugar goes too low, okay, they can't simply get the energy from their muscles or their liver. Their insulin levels aren't regulated like that. So, good. Okay,
Interesting.
it's very interesting. Yep. Allison doesn't like this stuff for some reason.
Really.
Get that on camera, yeah? Allison doesn't like this stuff.
Sorry,
I
Dylan.
would think.
Jen, we're gonna have to do something about that.
I wonder why she doesn't, because when you were going over this, the way you were describing this creatine and all
Yeah.
that, because I've had her for 2 classes, you kind of like just. I mean, I thought it was kind of presented the same way.
Her and I go over the same material. This is my field. I mean, this is what I feel most confident in. She
But
feels
I
more
wouldn't have got
confident.
that from her, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't have thought she didn't like it.
Yeah, no, she doesn't. But okay, so moving on, going to back to your sheet.
It makes more sense tonight.
Yeah.
Than it did.
Yeah, the more
I
you
mean,
hear,
I
the
remember
more
the
you hear it.
ATP, but I
Right.
couldn't remember all the specifics. But
The,
now
the
it's
more you
coming
hear it, the
together.
better it's gonna just click.
Because you didn't know how it worked, so it was sticking in your brain.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as far as this session scheduling, you're going to see sessions A, B, C, and D. Okay, you see that on your last 2 pages. Starts with the bluish purple bold letters. Okay, and it says strength training session A, 30 to 60 minutes. Now, this is just a general strength training program. Okay, this isn't individualized. Okay, you may have an injury that you can't do certain exercises, so just be aware of that, okay? This is just to provide you with different options for your training, okay? So, when you don't know what that exercise is, okay, and I'm not around or the trainer's not around, on the very end of their last page is if you forget how to do these exercises, ask one of the trainers or simply go to YouTube, type in the exercise that you want to learn, and YouTube will show you perfectly. Okay, all of these exercises are a universal term for the movement that you're doing. Okay, so it's super simple to do, and it's nice.
Bodybuilding has some pretty good.
Bodybuilding is a great source.
Yeah.
Not really for supplementation. I'm not a firm believer.
No,
in
no, but for the
supplementation,
exercises and stuff, like,
they have it's
Yeah.
a great source.
yeah.
Bodybuilding.com. And don't get thrown off by the term.
Yeah,
Because
it's.
they really provide you.
What are other good ones?
You have fitnessblender.com. That's a great site. It's this husband and wife that just provide you with 30, 60 minutes. Pretty much it would put me out of my profession. Yeah, they just provide you with 30 to 60 minutes of exercises, free videos, pretty much everything that I work for, they do for free. So.
That's a right.
Well, yeah, so you got Fitness Blender, you got bodybuilding.com, acefitness.org is a great site. Generally, it's for the trainers, but you can access quite a bit of information. Ideafit.org, I think, is another site.
Idea?
IDEA fit.org, I believe, is the site. Maybe .com, I'm not quite sure, but. And then go on to YouTube, type in anything that you could possibly ask. You'd be surprised at what you can find on YouTube.
Okay, so there's 4 here.
Yep. And
So
on the-
do you,
but-
like, do you do session A for like 4 weeks,
So on the
and after then maybe move on to section B for 4 weeks?
you could. On the first page, there's a little breakdown. Monday would be session A for you if you wanted. Okay. Wednesday, session B. Friday, session A again. Again, try to hit each major muscle group twice a week. That's your main goal. Okay? So when you're doing a recording for Jen, right, either online or that you've been doing these past couple of weeks with the cardio, okay, or last week with the cardio, that's how you're going to record it. Did I hit each major muscle group twice a week? Did I hit my pecs? Did I hit my front shoulders? Okay, my delts, my triceps, my biceps, my abdominals, my obliques, my quads, my hamstrings, my glutes. Did I hit all those? If I did twice a week, boom, check it off, done. If I didn't, why didn't I do it? Did I not understand how the exercises were? Or was I not, was I overtired that day or what? Whatever the reason may be, okay? No excuses, of course, okay? But there are reasons, whether you don't know or something's just come up. So next week, like I said, we're going to go over all those exercises next Monday, okay? Because tonight it's a lot of information to go over. And it's better that it sticks with you instead of trying to apply it over there. Okay? So, do you have any questions so far about the 3 different types of strength training? How to work in each zone, I guess?
How to work in each zone? You mean like the endurance one, or?
Mm-hmm.
It will depend on like the reps that we're gonna do in the sets will determine which one we're in.
Yep, so if I were to tell you guys to go do a push day at the gym, okay, and your sets were 3 sets and your reps were 8 to 12 repetitions.
More of a strength training.
Yeah, you're doing strength training. But what specific zone were you training in? The endurance, hypertrophy, or strength?
Hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy. And what does hypertrophy mean?
Enlarging the muscle.
Yeah, creating larger muscle size. Okay?
Power.
It's a combination of strength training and endurance, pretty much. Okay? How long do you think your rest should be?
A long time too. So that.
1 to 3 minutes.
1 to 3?
1 to 2.
Could be 30 to 90
That was
seconds,
1
though,
to 3.
right?
It's 30 to 90 seconds, really,
Okay.
for your hypertrophy. Now, interesting fun fact, 45 seconds, okay,
It should be what?
it should be really 30 to 60 seconds for rest, sometimes 90, but you really
So
don't,
the
you
2
really don't need
plus
that long.
minutes
It's
is
for
more
your,
for the endurance.
for strength,
For strength.
okay? Think about this, the lower number of reps that you do, the longer you need to rest because of the higher intensity that you're doing. The lower intensity, higher repetitions, the shorter rest you need. Okay? It may be backwards to you.
Unless you're not maxing out on your low
When you're not
reps,
maxing out,
then it don't count.
So
well,
there's
you
3
still need to have a little bit of rest. But
Yeah.
There's 3 types, not 2 types.
there are 3. Technically, there are 4. They're the general, the hypertrophy, the endurance, and strength. But for tonight, we're just going to talk about the 3. Okay? So you have 30 to 90 seconds of rest, okay, because within 45 seconds, your ATP resynthesizes by up to 75% within 45 seconds. That extra 25% okay, needs 2 to 5 minutes to resynthesize.
Okay.
So that 25% really is a huge factor for a lot of bodybuilders who need to do a lot of strength training.
So
Who are trying to
endurance
finish
is
their
50 to
reps.
55%.
What's that?
Endurance is 50 to 55%.
50 to 55 to 65%
55.
of your 1 RM for endurance.
Okay, say that it's 50.
Yep, right up back.
Say it again. It's what?
55 to 65%
I wrote that down.
for endurance.
What are your rests for endurance?
0 to 30. Depends if you're doing a circuit training. Circuit training implies that you don't need rest. Okay, 30 seconds is the most you'd want for endurance because you're trying to have those muscles in